Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and miall doneoch to you. We did see a softer side to the leader last week. The Prime Minister is a great dad. She loyally read out the script from number 10. She gives a lot to charity, she whispered. But then right on cue, normal service was resumed and she was thundering fury at Scots for not voting Tory. She then asked me a question, Madam Deputy Speaker, which I can tell you got quite a response in Scotland. Why do you think us Tory rotters, her words, not mine, are so desperate to keep Scotland in the Union, she asked. Why, indeed? I mean, it's generally felt Conservatives act in their own self-interest. So, anyway, Scots have been totting up all the great things about being in the UK. The gift of Brexit, making us poorer faster than even the worst forecasts. 14 years of grinding, endless austerity. A crippling debt burden of over 100% of GDP, just for starters. But the leader's not alone in her desperation to keep Scotland lashed tight to Westminster. She'll remember seeing a secret document presented to Cabinet in July 2020 by her colleague, the Levelling Up Secretary, its existence revealed at the COVID inquiry this week. Finalised at the height of the pandemic, it was entitled The State of the Union, a blatant attempt by her government to politicise the pandemic and indeed undermine the Scottish Government when trust in government messaging was crucial. It asked Cabinet to endorse some sort of strategy, most details of which are sadly missing from the inquiry's version. It required polling, research and data analysis, all at a time when Scotland's First Minister and Government were focused on and doing their damnedest to protect the people of Scotland. Number 10, of course, was slithering from one scandal to another. We know a Union Strategy Committee and a Union Operations Committee were set up to mimic the strategy and operations committees that helped create the monster of Brexit. Now, she would agree the considerable resources required that diverted cash and personnel from fighting the pandemic must be made clear to the public that funded it. So will the leader ask her colleagues to give a statement on this project, laying out why it was an appropriate use of governmental resources, what it did and what it's felt to have achieved, let's say its KPIs, particularly given the times in which it was conceived. Finally, she will recall that State of the Union report found that 82% of young voters in Scotland want independence, amongst many things. Can she tell us, is she surprised?
The Honourable Lady talks about normal service. We have had normal service from the SNP this morning. Yes, the full bingo card of textbook standard nationalist operating procedure. Failure to take responsibility for the things that you are responsible for, tick. Blame others, tick. Demonise opponents, tick. Distract from the indefensible things that the SNP we found out about this week, tick. And a complete lack of self-awareness. Only the Honourable Lady could come to this House and raise the issue of the COVID inquiry this week. Maybe she should have spent a little more time watching the evidence delivered by her own First Minister. The fact that we are having a COVID inquiry and that we did a lessons learnt exercise is because we do want to ensure that this nation can be resilient in the future and we can learn the lessons of that. The Honourable Lady's Party has been less than forthcoming on a similar ambition for their own performance in Scotland. So I would just ask her to reflect on that. Yes, the only thing that has been missing from the Honourable Lady's question to me this morning is that she has somehow failed to accuse the UK government for an escaped macaque from the Highland Zoo. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.